Yeah, the first question from an audience member: what the hell is happening with the market today?
Which market? Well, which market?
Well, where to start, Didi? I was going back through my old videos and realised the last time that we actually did a video together was the 7th of January. Bitcoin broke through a $1 trillion on that video while we were live. If you remember, its market cap's come back about 40%. You're the man famous for zooming out, so I thought, who better to? It's obviously long overdue. The three of us having a catch up. We got some great stuff to bring the audience up to speed on. But yeah, maybe you can share some thoughts on how you're viewing things right now in the crypto space.
So easy, Sean. It's so easy. Sell your house, sell your companies, sell your cars, sell your clothes, sell your wife, sell your kids, and go all in at the moment. We are on the. There's nothing wrong with this huge bull run. We are the hell of this bull run. Everybody starts to freak out again. Like the same way you and me, and probably Vesa as well, freaked out in 2017 when we had the 2 times 40% crash, like in a short term. I was like, oh my God, we're going to zero. At the end, we went up to 20K from 3K. This is the dip. If you look at the charts, it's so sad I can't show the charts. If you look at the charts now, we are exactly copying the moves of 2013 and 17, and then exactly in between. But July, if you look at July, every time, last time we had that 42% dip was also around that period in July. We are doing the same, and everybody's selling again. All the strong hands are buying again, and at the end December we will see 100K, and we will all be laughing again. And this is we just need to get through this period of fear and people thinking Bitcoin is going to go to 0 and to 17K and to 12K and to 1K. And I am buying every day. I'm dollar costing averaging into Bitcoin every day. Everything I've earned, if is there $1 Tether in my account, it goes into Bitcoin at the moment. I'm really not afraid of the bull run being over. It's not over. It's not over till we say it's over.
Very true, mate. Well, I mean, it does actually seem like a very long time ago, but the first video I ever made on the Hard Forking channel was with you back in Copenhagen on the beach. I think that was 2017. I think Bitcoin was about $3,000 then, so it's still up 10x since then. I think that as you say, zoom out. The fundamentals couldn't be stronger for me. So yeah, I mean, this is a great.
When we made the video in 2017, it was only a dream and was only a thought that Bitcoin was ever going to be real money, a legal tender. We are 4 years later, and there is a country, El Salvador, that announced its legal tender. This is what we have all been fighting and dreaming of. Bitcoin becoming real hardcore money. Needed to be accepted in a grocery store. It's official. Other countries will follow. Bitcoin is not going to 0. It's going to go up. It's not going to be forbidden by the government. It's not going to be blocked by the whatever. They are all supporting it. They're all in it. People still are in this 2017 mindset, 18 mindset of the bear market. When the newspaper said, it's a scam, get out. And people still are in that mindset at that point. And now they slowly get in this new mindset of Elon. I call him Elon Musk because he needs to grow a pair of balls. And a few other billionaires, they are adding it to the balance sheet. Sean, huge companies, MicroStrategy, PayPal, now also soon Apple, are adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. This means there is a legal framework to add this shit to the balance sheet.
Yep.
And who makes that legal framework? The politicians. And who is paying those politicians to make that legal framework? Those billionaires. If people don't see that cycle, that the same billionaires that vote or that pay those politicians to become a politician or a president are now forcing those politicians to create a legal framework for those billionaires to protect their capital of the inflation that is upcoming during this crisis. If people can't see that this clear, then they should wear a mouth mask and just go vaccinate themselves and go run somewhere in a deep seller in the house.
Oh, look, I couldn't agree more. I mean, if I look back at now, actually, quickly before I say anything else, I'm sort of assuming most of my audience knows who you two guys are, but just in case they don't, this is Didi. Didi, very good friend, made a hell of a lot of content with us on this channel. Didi sold absolutely everything and went all in on Bitcoin and crypto back in, what was it, 2016?
Yeah, it was January 2017. That's when we started.
Awesome. And our other wonderful guest who's been on the channel many times, also a fantastic friend, is Vesa, an amazing artist. So we're going to be hearing from these two guys what they've been up to. As I say, it's been about 5-6 months since you've been on the channel. So we'll let the audience know what you two guys are up to in a moment. But I guess before we do that, Didi, I know a lot of people are tuning in because of the price action. So yeah, look, just any thoughts around, for people that are a bit jumpy here, what advice would you have for them? I guess you just gave it to them just now, but
no, I would buy, guys. Okay, let's one more thing. All the people are jumpy because of this huge bear cross, the death cross on the 1-day chart. That is why people are jumpy, because they are looking at the charts, they are looking at the influencers, and they're looking like, oh, death cross, we're going to go down. Please watch the videos I made this weekend, because the death cross is always lagging behind. If you look to all the previous death crosses, that's, for example, the dip was already there on the 10th of May. Now we are seeing the death cross after the dip. Every time when we see a death cross, you can see that the moment the death cross is appearing on the chart, that the price is already going up slowly. So the bottom was 30. Now we are at 33, 32. Even if we go to 31, the price is slowly going up at the moment the death cross appears. Look to the previous death cross that we saw. Same thing. Huge dip on the 10th. Bam, we fell down. At that moment, 21 days later, the death cross appeared on the chart. And at that moment, the price was already going up again. The death cross are two lines that are lagging behind. Yes, it's a beautiful indication, but for me, it is an indication that the green line will go down on the red line. And then when the green line comes up onto the red line again, that moment people need to wait for. That's the bull cross. And that moment is the best moment you can ever buy. Because if you buy into that moment, that means that you're going to have a shitload of profit every time again. But that's why the people are freaking out. So if you look at the chart I posted today on my video, if we don't go below that green line that I'm sharing on the 1-day chart, I don't think that we are going down.
Okay. Yeah, I've put a link to Didi's YouTube channel. He makes fantastic daily content. Everybody, get across and check that. As I say, there's a link below. I've actually been using your indicator for. I'm hodling about 70% of all my investment in the blockchain space. I trade with 30% of it. I use Didi's indicator here, actually, the Bam Bam and the TikTok. And BYBIT, little shill here. If you are an experienced trader, please use our link below. So yeah, I'm actually on an Ethereum chart here at the moment. What did we get down to? We went, I think we dropped down below 2,000 there. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin, what it's up to at the moment. Vesa, do you trade at all?
Well, I don't trade as much as I collect all the coins via mostly selling art, and then I swap them around for this and that, and I sort of also I recently became an art ambassador for Shisha Finance, and that program got me some Shisha, and there's things like that, but I haven't actually ever bought with fiat currency any tokens or crypto. So I'm sort of a utility guy, I suppose, in that kind of way.
Very good, and we're going to get to the amazing projects that you're involved in a moment. So yeah, Didi, we're looking at your indicators here. What do you think this 4 hours telling us? I'll go back through the time frames.
So I can't see at the moment where you are in the price at the moment. You need to scroll a little bit more. So
30,
this is
we're sitting at 30, 33.1 at the moment.
so. Do you have the? Is this? Do you don't have the MC 2.03 on this one, or do you? No, you don't have it. The one with the shorts and the long flags.
Yeah, you're not seeing that? The oh no, just the bull and
that
the bear
one.
indicators.
So yeah, but if you look at this is the TikTok. So if you look at the TikTok, the bear indicator told us very clearly that we need to sell at that cross, and now we are completely red down below that cloud. So we are now waiting for this green square, and if the green square will appear, and the the blue line will be crossing the white line at the same time, that is the moment we buy again on the 4-hour chart. So when we buy and we sell that on the 4-hour chart. So that's like we always trade with a triple confirmation because of the indicator. The indicators, by the way, will have an upgrade in the next 2 weeks, and then we can even trade with a six triple, six triple confirmation. How do you say that? A 6/10 confirmation.
Lots of different confirmations.
Yeah, because
Hey guys, do you mind? No, sorry. Just as a sort of side note, I mean, you guys obviously know the charts and all this kind of market movement so much better than I do. But people who are even very credible, long-time people who've been in crypto are kind of hinting at the bear market, and I'm just going like, well, but on this bull run, we haven't even. There's multiple very strong coins that haven't even barely broken through their all-time high of 2017. And if this was the peak of Bitcoin on this run, that would be an exceptionally low one, right? And like you, Sean, and both of you, you're very strong on fundamentals and things like that. And I see, like this feels very different to the 2017 one, because we didn't have a pandemic that printed the hell out of all of these dollars, and the whole nothing makes sense for me. Like I don't know how to read those charts and those points and whatever, but just logically and fundamentally looking at what's going on, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever that we would be in the bull run, unless if there was such market manipulation that, you know, the crypto was broken somehow. That's how it feels to me. Am I totally off the wall, or what?
You mean that we are in the bear run or on the bull run, Vesa?
No, it means like if we were in the bear run right now, nothing would make sense anymore. You know, that's how it feels to me. But there's many people who are like all in on this stuff who are saying bear market, and I'm going like, I just that doesn't feel right to me. That's my intuition on things, but you guys know better.
No, I don't know better. I'm just a dude with a cap walking on the beach as well, and I went all in. That's all. But for me, it doesn't feel like a bear market. For me, it feels like the pullback in 2017. Why I almost pulled out my all-in investment. You know, when you go in 3K and you go up to 10K, and then it corrects 40% to 6K, you get afraid. You're like, oh shit, I need to get out now because then I still have profit. I got in at 3, I still have profit at 6. That's the feeling I am having now again. Oh shit, we went to 60K. Oh no, we are going back to 40K. Oh no, to 30K. Oh, I need to get out so I still have profit. And then you get out, and then it starts to run again. That's for me. It's not this can't be. If we keep repeating the 4-year cycle, including the halving and all that stuff, then this can't be the end of the bull run, because mathematically we can't be there yet. That is not the amount of days that we normally are bullish in the bull run. We only had 21 bullish days at the moment. Normally we have over 70 bullish days. We didn't see the NVT yet at the levels that it should be during the top of the bull run. Even worse, the NVT is like, especially at the moment now, at that moment that we went to the bottom, the lowest point ever, coming up again, which means also, I think the NVT price at the moment is $55,000. So also there, I see the reversal coming. But this is just another moment. I think the week's hands are being shaken out. And that's why I compare it to July, because if you compare it to July 2013, we had a 70% drop, 72% drop. If you compare to July 2017, we had a 42% drop. And yes, now we had a 50% drop, but that doesn't mean the bull market is over. We are just in between 2013, 70% drop, and 2017, 40% drop. We are just in between. Like the whole bull market We have been moving in between the 2013 and 17 market. So this pullback is exactly in between those pullbacks. So for me, I'm really not freaking out. I'm doing everything I can every day to get more Bitcoins and more Bitcoins and more Bitcoins, because this is the exciting moment for me, that the last moment you can get into it and just enjoy that huge run to above 100K. That's times 3 from now, times 4, maybe times 5. That's like, that's the best opportunity in life.
So after the bull run is done and we go to the next bear market, where do you think that Bitcoin's all-time low is going to go next?
I think it's going to be between 30 and 40K. That's why we're building this strong base now. Every time when we go
40.
sideways in the bull market, when we went sideways in 2017, when we touched the midline of the logarithmic growth curve, when we went sideways there, at that point, that became the new bottom. The same thing in 2013. When we went sideways, during the moment that we had a huge dip, we went sideways for 9 weeks in total in 2013. That became the new bottom. So for me, we are building now the new bottom for the new bear run. So I think the new bottom will be between 30 and 40K, if it is a logical moving like always. And that bottom is always built, and that's the beautiful part of the 4-year cycle. The bottom seems to be always built at the level of 1.5 times the previous top. So 2013, the bottom was the top was like 1200 times 1.5. You get a new bottom of around $1,700, $1,800, which was the bottom at that point in the new bull run. Then 2017, we had a 20K top times 1.5. So the new bottom should be now around 30K. And if that holds, then it's the same structure we have done every 4-year cycle. The top of the previous bull cycle times 1.5 is the bottom of the next bull cycle. So we need to wait till we see the top of this bull cycle, of course, to see the new bottom of that one again. But yeah, I really think it's going to be around 30K.
I mean, we won't get, I'm not going to share too many shots. That I had a few lined up, but, I think, having you two guys on today, you're some of the more experienced people in this space. I think it's, good for us to have a chat about that bigger picture. And, from my point of view, Didi, some of my favorite moments in the crypto space were hanging out in that little beach bar in Koh Phangan with yourself, Chris, and that crew. And, the conversations back then where, where I was very much learning about Bitcoin back then. And it was, for me, it was this education in economics. And the big takeaways for me, what really got me addicted to the space in Bitcoin's case, was it's the first time that we have stateless money, money separate from governments, something you actually own yourself. And what I see at the moment, with these price moves and so forth, and there's extremely popular channels where, they're in there and it's a lot of hype and so forth. These are these retail investors that it is still just about that price point for them. I think so many people miss that bigger picture. And because of that, they're also not really taking that next step and understanding where the investment is coming into the space and why. I mean, compared to, when we first started hanging out, bunch of guys in a beach bar, as we started the top of the show, we've got governments adopting this now. And look, on that note, be under no illusions, it's actually been going on for a long time. I mean, Singapore, Norway, these countries have held large amount of Bitcoin for a very long time. So, it's great to see countries maybe sort of decouple from reliance on the US dollar with what we're seeing in El Salvador at the moment, and looks like a bit of a domino effect about to happen there. But look, this has been going on behind the scenes for a long time. And if you are just super concerned about the price, this is a good look. A, I think it's a great buying opportunity, but B, it's a great opportunity to enter back into this market with a bit more knowledge. Really understand why you're in here. And Bitcoin is many different things, isn't it? It's philosophical, it's political, it's economic. There's all sorts of different things at play here, guys. What are you both seeing? I mean, I know you rub shoulders with some, very, very big players in the space. what have you seen over the last, say, 6 months? People you've been talking to, anything you'd like to share with the audience on that front? Vesa, maybe
Did you want to go first?
You've just been in Dubai, hanging out with billionaires. What was that conference all about, and what was the general tone and feeling about the blockchain space?
It was the AIBC summit was very energetic. It felt like the good old days, but with face diapers to a certain degree. But it was very energetic. It was a little hectic on some fronts, but it was good to be among friends again. And many cool things happened. And our mutual friend, actually, like the last day, I was there for 3 weeks, and on the last day, which was one of the most incredible days, I was hanging out with our mutual friend, Mr. Nico de Jong. And he is doing the Blockchain Valley, of course, in Sofia, Bulgaria, as well as the Blockchain Valley Virtual and all of that stuff associated. But essentially, he just said, "Yeah, come along. I've got a big investor meeting, and you can come and hang out, and we can hang out and smoke a cigar and have a drink or whatever. That feel free to join." And I came to his very fancy hotel, and we were sitting down, and there was a couple of, you could say, big energy guys around. And then this one guy sort of came, and his name escapes me, but he was a little hunched like this, and maybe 10 years younger than me or something like that. And when this guy started to talk, like you just know when someone is really knows what they're talking about, and they have a full wrap of what they're doing. Because Nico said that he wants to build Blockchain Valley Dubai. And this guy then sort of just arranged the table and put it all together of where the money is going to come from, what the ceiling was, and the price being negotiated was $1 billion. So essentially, within about 15 to 20 minutes, while a few guys are smoking cigars and just watching this operatic play sort of take part, they pretty much set in motion $1 billion deal to build Blockchain Valley Dubai. And that was a pretty incredible thing to kind of witness. And right after that, these two Italian guys come along, and they're building, because you guys might have seen my studio, the sort of printed out 360 space that we have. And these two Italian guys, they're putting together this similar sort of concept, but with screens where you can make the art come alive, and you can control the temperature, you can control the scent that this gallery has, and it's like a whole 5 sensory experience. But they also have this kind of frequency understanding, that they understand that art has a function as well as something that just looks pretty. So we're having another meeting the day after, actually tomorrow morning, and we're discussing some interesting things, as well as, I thought I was walking home with $500,000 because of this Terra Virtua auction that we did for this virtual reality art piece. But the one who made the $500,000 bid failed KYC. So for 4 days, I was very, very sort of happy about how the direction of how things were going. And then on the 5th day, I had to eat a bit of bitter salt, I suppose, on that front. But
so is that still available?
Yeah, well, what we're actually going to do with it is that with Terra Virtua, they're going to put some money and again, their company resources behind it, and we're going to rent the digital gallery in Dubai and have the project there. We're going to release the actual project with sideloader to Oculus, so that it goes for people to be able to see what we actually did. And then we're going to partner up with a powerful auction house, and in 3 months relaunch the project. So nothing was lost apart from time and a little bit of a disappointment, but we're building it back up again.
Hey, Didi, I'll get you to talk through what you've been up to in a moment. But Vesa, while you're telling us about what you've been doing, maybe you could share the video of the NFTs. I know a lot. We've got a big sort of gaming and NFT community and around hard forkers now. I know a lot of them would love to have a look at what you're doing. Have you got some examples of some of your work there? And I know you're doing something pretty amazing on the NFT front with cars. You want to maybe share that with us first?
Yeah. Well, this is a brainchild of mine, and this guy called Dr. Marwan, who's the CEO of the Dubai Blockchain Center, and a very well integrated guy, and really pushing the integration of blockchain in the Emirates and Dubai in particular. And basically, I showed him a picture of a concept car of a Tesla that was sort of made into art that I made already back in 2014, the last time that I was there before Christmas. And then, lo and behold, this guy a couple of months ago just wants to do a Zoom call where he tells me that he's bought 17 cars and we're going to be making them into NFTs. So that's kind of cool. So this is actually the first ever public showing of this video clip. That is the first one. This is Dr. Marwan's own Tesla, and it's a DeFi piece called Compound Defiance that I made some time ago, and we're going to work that into a motion digital version, and then of course the art is on the car, and we're going to bundle it all together and much more, and tokens and a bunch of other things that to make sort of invert the car value pyramid. Because one of the most annoying things of what people say is that when they buy my art is that they go like, they make a car,
they can't
analogy.
drive it.
Well, a car analogy is just very shitty when it comes to art, because the whole point of art is that if you have investment grade art is that it goes up in value. And most, if you buy your Lambo or whatever, it's a pleasure purchase. It's a lifestyle purchase. It's not an investment. Very, very few cars actually have an investment value. So what we want to do is that we only collect these like very rare cars like Dodge Challenger and this Nashville car from the 50s, and then there's an 84 Porsche, and there's then we go to supercars and all of these different kinds of things. But we're going to wrap them in art physically, and then they come with a motion art piece, and likely the VR company Vario, the 8K glasses company, is going to come with their augmented reality set that you can put your glasses on like this, and then you can see that art come alive on that car. And we're going to make a lot of noise about it eventually. But like I said, the whole point is that if you drive your Lambo out the shop, it's going to be 30% less in value. So that's the normal status of cars. Now, if you marry it together with art, and then you make it a whole package that is sort of compounded interest over time in order for you to be able to benefit from purchasing that car, not only as an experience, but as something that goes up in value, then we're doing something pretty special. And that's the whole point of this project.
Vesa, you should include that hot chick, super car blondie into it.
Yeah. We definitely want to. I don't know her personally, but we definitely want to get in touch with her to see if she's interested in helping us kind of make it known for a bunch of people of what we're doing.
Of course, man. She has a huge reach that would go viral. A beautiful avatar of the super chick promoting the NFT cars. Yeah, beautiful.
It's amazing.
Sure, man. Yeah. If
So
you guys
just
know a
quickly,
link
Vesa,
and how to get in touch with her.
How does that model work? When you say you're turning it into an NFT, I mean, can people sort of own a fraction of one of those cars, or is the NFT is a one-off sale that you get the NFT with the actual car, or
yeah, we've been
tokenomics
discussing that. We've been discussing that, but I think the one of one is the right way to go, and especially because the default setting and the sort of meme inside of people's minds is that cars go down in value. So I think you're going to have to pack a lot of different value arguments and keep it as a one of one and a super exclusive type of thing in order for the idea in people's minds to become something that, oh, I'm buying a car and it's not going to be a cheap one, but it also comes with an art piece, and that's not cheap either. And the whole thing actually is a bit of money if I buy it via an auction, but it still has the potential to go up in value a lot, as well as be a device of enjoyment that you can put the digital art piece on your wall on a screen, and you can drive the car and sort of show about in town and all of these kinds of things. So yeah, I'm going super exclusive on that as the concept.
So what's the? I mean, we've got a big following in the play to earn and the gaming space. You're obviously one of the absolute top artists in the blockchain and crypto space. What are you doing in that VR world, and what sort of innovation are you seeing around NFTs, art, VR, in blockchain at the moment?
Well, I think altogether, what's so exciting about what these Italian guys are doing is that the only element thus far missing, but even though some of those things are negotiated behind the scenes, is how to integrate AI properly into the art experience. But what they're doing with their digital screen space that, you know, just imagine that you're able to control an art experience to the degree that if the art piece wants to give a certain kind of vibe, you can elevate the temperature of that room to be like tropical. You can be, let's say, in cold ass Finland or something like that, and go to this gallery, and then all of a sudden have this sort of desert like atmosphere alive around you, but you're not going to only see it, you're going to feel it as the temperature and the kind of smell that gets injected into this room, and those kinds of things. And that can also that can be of course associated with these virtual reality things, because you can put the goggles on and then you can still control all of those things around you, but it doesn't require as much space as building these whole digital circles will. I think virtual reality is absolutely the future of art on so many different kinds of levels. But there's a bit of like, I like a mixture of analog as well as digital, because it's still like, I have some pieces on my wall here, and they're not grand and they're not spectacularly, you know, these kinds of things, but because they're where I sleep, I often look at them and they catch my eye.
Is that the one where you painted Didi's balls? Is it on the ceiling of your bedroom?
Yeah, that's right above me. It's when I go to sleep on Didi's balls, basically. So, but the like the analog paintings, even if it's a painting this size, if it catches you at the right moment, it can take you inside of a world, and it can open up. Most importantly, it can open up worlds inside of you. You know, like the same thing as what we all know, that a lot of so-called progressive language is actually being used to do a lot of regression at the moment. It's the same kind of deal. It's like, if you only are about progress, you might miss the whole point of why you're doing it in the first place. And this is why I'm all about just options, that you have a lot of freedom and different kinds of ways on how to experience these things. But sometimes novelty and new things can actually miss the point entirely. So this is why I'm excited about the Vario partnership with these VR glasses, because they have the right idea. These Italian guys have the right idea, because it's not only about the spectacle, it's actually about the core of doing it right. Kind of like the market fundamentals. You need to understand the fundamentals of crypto, and then it becomes something amazing. And many people play about with Dogecoin, and maybe trolling has value. Of course, it has.
I haven't actually asked Eddie. That was the other thing I remember from meeting him on the beach, Vesa. I think you were a Doge whale back in 2016. Did you keep them?
No, I sold them.
Oh, really?
But I bought back.
Okay.
I sold them at 67 cents.
Right. So, Didi, now listen, firstly, it's been ages since we've spoken, and just massive hats off and huge respect for what I saw you up to in Mexico. You're one of the more generous and charitable and hardworking guys in this entire industry. You built a school.
Yeah. I was not planned. I didn't plan to go to Mexico to build a school. To be honest, I went to Mexico to celebrate a holiday with my family. I needed 1 month, downtime, and it was a quite busy time. So I promised my family we'll go there for a month to celebrate some holiday, but that turned out completely different, because after 2 days I was invited into a meetup and I can't say no, and I went and then appeared that Mexico has a huge, but really huge Bitcoin community, like really big. Like, I haven't seen this big community else yet on the world where I traveled. And then
really,
one
wow,
day,
that's very
like every week there were 4 meetups. Every week, 4 meetups, and all the meetups had more than 50 to 100 people. Every week, again and again, every week, full. I saw people, because Tulum is the rich people's place. So all the CEOs of all those huge projects, they all come to Tulum, and they all spoke at the beach, and all the meetings were packed. I haven't seen such a big community before. And
so what tell me on that note, what is impressing you in the blockchain space? You know, where it's always difficult when I'm writing titles for videos or talking. I'm always like Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain. You know, they are all quite different things. What are you seeing that's impressing you in the overall space? What projects, what people, what innovation? Can you tell us a bit about what you've seen over the last sort of 6 months, year, or what you think's coming up in the next year or two?
Yeah, I will keep it very short first, because then this guy tells me, Didi, there is a, you know, the crypto influencer paying like $300-400 for a beefsteak over there. And then this guy took me 3 minutes outside of Tulum to an invasion where all the poor people live, the slums, you know, like the favelas. And there I saw kids on the floor. And that's why I said, I really became emotional. I need to cry, and was like, this is not possible. We are spending so much money over there, and people don't have even chairs to sit to get education. And that's when I promised them I will build a school. So that's why we started to build a school. The school is almost finished now. You can check that on the YouTube video. But the thing I find really strange at the moment is that the community is kind of being splitting up a little bit, in my opinion. You know, you have the hardcore Bitcoiners that now also start to be very positive on projects that are KYC. And you still have a part that is still fighting for complete privacy, decentralization, and non-KYC. And I can see that that competition playing out. And there's so many people that run companies nowadays, which is beautiful, but you need to have KYC to use them. You know, they are like these onboarding platforms for Bitcoin, like Coinbase, but you also have smaller ones that make it possible for people to buy Bitcoin in a simple way with their bank account. But people need to understand, and that's what I don't understand, is that people don't understand that is KYC. Bitcoin should be for everyone. So how can you support all these KYC companies? Yes, it's cool that they get in the rich people into Bitcoin, but we should not lose the focus on the non-KYC way of getting into Bitcoin. Because the poor people, the bankless people that we should be banking, they still can't do a KYC. You in New Zealand can, Vesa in Finland can, I in Portugal can, but those people who Bitcoin is really built for can't. So that is the main thing I'm seeing, that everybody is into DeFi, into KYC onboarding platforms, and I would love to see the DeFi now going decentralized without KYC. You know, I would love all the exchanges to go decentralized without KYC. I would love all those onboarding platforms that I can use to buy Bitcoins with my bank account to come non-KYC. But I think that's a dream, and that probably will never come through because of the huge interest of all those banks and central banks to not set the world free of non-KYC. But that is the only thing that is bothering me in the industry, that I'm like, why is nobody focusing on creating onboarding platforms that will be non-KYC? Because everybody's afraid, of course, of going into jail or whatever. I don't know what it is. So I think that will be the next bull run. Will be about NFTs, DeFi, but in a decentralized ways without KYC. And I think there is already 1 or 2 platforms doing that nowadays. And I think that will be the next run, because people will, they just will want to have their privacy, and they will want to buy Bitcoin with money that is not KYC or whatever. I think that's the next target. And the rest, I've been meeting a lot of very rich people in Mexico. They are all playing this game, Sean. They are all buying it. Every time again, when I see all people freaking out and selling, oh no, these people are buying. You can see this in the charts. You can see that the long-term holders, the wallets with above 1,000 Bitcoins, are increasing again.
Yeah.
Since the last 30K dip, you can see that the wallets that have a shitload of Bitcoins are going up. They are buying up these Bitcoins.
Didi, that's always been a major concern of mine. I've made hundreds of videos. You and I have discussed it many, many times as well. You know, I've just literally been begging people to have even a small holding, in this asset, so that there is a distribution of wealth. You know, it worries me that Bitcoin becomes this very regulated corporate anti-inflationary asset that they're holding on and corporate treasuries. It's going to be very interesting how it plays out, because you see that happening in sort of Western democracies. I think we all know that's probably how it's going to play out. But at the same time, I think if regulation maybe oversteps the mark, there's always going to be those friendly countries to to Bitcoin, to the crypto community. Yeah. So how this all looks in a year or two is pretty fascinating. But outside of Bitcoin, for me, there is so much innovation happening. I think there's always going to be projects that will be non-KYC, that will be as effectively as their selling point. This is decentralized. Anybody can get into this. And, depending on how these little power structures around the world try to control what we do, that's the market will evolve to have offerings for whatever everyone wants. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I think that's why I think Vesa is a huge important role in this, because I think the way to do non-KYC trading without having to talk about money is an NFT. So for me, I think the NFT space will be developing to that peer-to-peer value transaction without talking about money. It's like the same in the physical world. A lot of billionaires, they are using art to exchange value. There's tax reasons why to do it. I think in the digital world, NFT can play that role. So if you combine NFT with DeFi and a privacy cryptocurrency, then I think you're there. I think we will have it. But the rest, Sean, I can only see positive things. Everything is growing. Every industry that has to do with blockchain or cryptocurrency is growing, and we can see more money flowing in. We can see more new wallets being created every day. We can see more new people every day. So that can't be the end of the bull run. It's when no wallets are newly being created, no more money is flowing in. That is the moment we need to start to become like suspicious of the end of the bull run. But we are by far not there yet.
Look, I mean, on that note, if we, obviously the market still follows Bitcoin's price movements. I don't think and even with Bitcoin, I still think we're quite coupled to traditional markets. I mean, I think we'll eventually see Bitcoin decouple from the S&P, the major indices. And then ultimately, I think we're going to see Ethereum and these other projects also decouple from the movements in Bitcoin. I think it'll happen sooner than people actually think, for the reasons we've just discussed here.
Hey, can I just say, because we sort of just glided past something pretty amazing. I think I just wanted to say that, Didi, you're a goddamn fucking rock star. You went there and you built a school. This is what I love about this space, is that there's
he also raised hundreds of thousands of dollars with a couple of other guys in the space. I watched that live stream, Didi. That was incredible.
Yeah,
praise be. What I wanted to say is that, because there's now people are so camped into certain kind of thing. You use this language, then you're in that camp, and if this, and then you're that, and separated. And I love hanging out with people who are the glitch in the matrix. You're sort of like, you're saying this one thing about investment and going value and charts and whatever, and then you go and put your money where your mouth is, and you actually go and do the thing that most people just talk about. They pay lip service of actually crypto just being something that helps the world, but it does take exceptional individuals who then go and do the work of actually changing it actively with crypto. And this is the kind of mindset that is this decentralized Medici family, is that I saw some time ago that a lot of these people, a lot of the OGs started getting very wealthy, and they started wanting to be on the cover of their own version of the Fortune 500 to a relative degree. And what I love about what you just did is that you are actively fixing with Bitcoin and the technological solutions those things that Bitcoin criticizes. The whole point was not to build a citadel or your own personal wealth and get, sort of avoid the pitchforks. The whole point was to fix the underlying system and then work as a quote unquote agent to actually go and make those changes happen. And that's really, really incredible. But when it comes to a certain thing, and what you also said about the DeFi projects and NFTs, I find it fairly bizarre. And when the first correction of NFTs properly comes, it comes because people didn't pay attention to any of the fundamentals. There's a bit of a cognitive dissonance going on in the NFT community right now, where they're literally printing out garbage and throwing millions at it. While at the same time critiquing fiat currency. There's a hell of a lot of fiat currency going on in the form of NFTs at the moment, and they need to be corrected. And then hopefully at some point, we will have much more education on the fundamentals of what makes, especially the contemporary art side of NFTs, valuable. I'm not going to say anything about the sort of normal collectibles and whatever when Pokemon gets in and all those kinds of things that are helping the adoption of it. But with regards to the art side, it's okay. So very, very short, 50 years ago, art became almost like a footnote on a footnote on a footnote. It's something that, you know, if Picasso did something 100 years ago and made his own brand and something important happened, now the NFT community is exploiting all of these dead artists and making collaborations, quote unquote, with them and doing something a little bit new with something that they created ages ago with this new revolutionizing technology. And the market is rewarding for them to rehash the same old things and the same old Warhols and the same old crap that Bitcoin or crypto art came to stop after 50 years of an avalanche that is mainly just political propaganda or fancy things for the rich. There's an actual substance to art. And if we do hold that and we don't just do the footnote thing and take it on hyperdrive like what NFTs have now done, then we have a chance of all of that happening with DeFi and NFTs for them to becoming a true store of value and an exchange of value, that it's not only manipulation or deals, sort of backhanded deals in order to shift things about. It becomes a true force of change for people's awareness and value. So that's something that I meant to say. And lastly, I met this guy in Dubai, Oscar, who wants to do, he's a local to Tulum, and Tulum is one of my favorite places. I haven't been there in 10 years, but I really, really want to go back. And this guy is making a conference. And I think, like this conversation right now, this is the band back together again. And I feel so good about that, you know, hanging out with you guys again. But Sean, we still haven't met in goddamn person.
I know, it's ridiculous.
And maybe that would be the Tulum conference in November. Could we make a plan to show up there? Or even in September, I'm going back to Dubai, and many of these car things and many other like amazing things are going to happen. I'd just love for us three to kind of share a drink at some point in person with Didi again and Sean for the first time. Like, dude, we've known each other for fucking 3 years and still haven't like sat down with you.
I know, it's insane. Yeah, well, I'm hoping by sort of September, October, I'm actually my country's borders are closed, so it just makes it very difficult for me to even move in or out anywhere at the moment. But I'm hoping that's going to change in the very near future. I'm sort of sitting down here on the bottom of the world, watching the rest of the world sort of start to move around again, and yeah, we're, as much as we don't have to run around with the facial nappy, as you call it. Yeah, I feel pretty bloody isolated.
Yes. People still wear them. I don't even understand. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
The 26th of June, I think whole Europe is going to step away from the whole face diapers and all the stuff. So the Netherlands are going to stop with it. Germany, I think, Spain, all the 26th of June.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So from that moment, you don't need to wear them anymore in stores, nowhere. So Europe is slowly opening up. People are feeling a little bit more free, I think. Yeah. I just skipped all those countries. I just went to Mexico, where I didn't really need to wear them. Now in Portugal, you don't need to wear them. So, but I think from the 26th of June, Europe is going to be a little bit more open.
Yeah, I definitely want to visit Portugal as well. It seems to be an incredibly crypto and blockchain friendly country. In fact, I read today they're legalizing some exchanges there, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to look Wednesday morning. I have a meeting at a beautiful plot of land. I'm going to look into to build a small blockchain village over here with 25 small houses, like self-sufficient ecosystem houses.
Count me in for land. One.
And then I want to build a school there. So I'm talking to the Portuguese government at the moment. because I want to start to educate the Portuguese children into blockchain crypto. And that's why we are probably being allowed to build that village on that beautiful part of land. So that's also a really cool project. And I'm buying a house in Venezuela at the moment for some very poor kids, 20, that I bought them once shoes and dinner with Christmas, and because they didn't have shoes. And now they found a house for, I think, $6,000, and they could live there with 20 kids. So we are buying that house now so that they can live there and, build up a future.
I can see your shoulders going, Didi, from holding your phone up for an hour now. So I won't keep you too much longer. But yeah, that's amazing. I mean, we've actually got quite a big Venezuelan community that follows hard forking. We set up some scholarships on a play to earn game on the blockchain. Something that when we began, there was literally a few thousand sort of people playing this game. Now it's up over 110,000 people daily playing this game. Axie Infinity. Yeah, cool. And for me, it's this wonderful business model of the use of blockchain. People are being rewarded for their time online. This thing is just growing and growing and growing. I think there's going to be numerous examples of these type of initiatives. So it's something we're really proud of on the channel. In fact, there's a couple of people watching now. I will get your teams to you by tomorrow. They're just getting set up. So apologies for the delay. I think both of you guys are watching at the moment. But yeah, we got I think a couple of hundred teams. We're looking to really ramp that up. It's a project we're very proud of. Blockchain is removing that reliance on governments. It's making things much more open, much more fair.
It's creating a lot of friendships. It's creating a lot of friendships, and I think that is why we three should meet very soon.
Well, look, I mean, on that note, Didi, and it's probably a good way to sort of start wrapping up here. But you did right. The world at the moment is got so many challenges, and it does concern me that when the real story, which is this economic situation that in many ways has sort of been brushed under the carpet by the COVID narrative, we've still got to face that, and this is where Bitcoin and the other innovations happening around blockchain are going to come to the fore. And what concerns me is that where you have times of economic strife, you have potentially a lot of military engagements. We're seeing that from countries at the moment being extremely aggressive against each other. And if we look at our lives, I mean, we literally are talking to people from every corner of the globe on a daily basis. I mean, Vesa, we still haven't met. It's been 3 years. This literally every day. I mean, you're in fact, we're probably about as far away as you can get on the planet right now. New Zealand and Finland. And it's wonderful that all this commerce that takes place online because of blockchain, the ability to create, these pools of value around projects we value, people we value, that's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that, to me, is what creates a world with a hell of a lot less problems. If we're trading together, if we're talking, if we're engaging with each other across multiple nationalities, this is the future, people. It's a really beautiful future, and it's wonderful to be part of this industry. It keeps me sane in what has been very trying and challenging times for everybody.
Well, I think to a relative degree, the writing on the wall is like something that I was just thinking in the shower before we started this podcast, is that, to a relative degree, because of the kind of very totalitarian feel that is going on in the so-called developed world, which is, it's developed in many ways, but it seems to be regressing in other ways, is that I think a lot of personal freedom is going to be found in the second or the third worlds that are developing in a different kind of way very soon, because there's something very creepy about what's going on with the universities, what's going on in the public discourse, what's going on in the censorship of things, and what's going sort of like we just feel how this personal space is getting smaller and smaller, and what you're meant to or able to express, or even now your sort of body's sovereignty is coming into question, whether these sort of vaccinations are being forced upon people, and there's quite a lot of very concerning things And I sort of, at least intuitively, I'm starting to feel like, hey, maybe those countries where I wanted to live in or be in aren't going to be those countries where I want to be living in or raising my kid. I mean, that's some part of the news, is that my lady is about to pop our firstborn in about 5 weeks. So there's a new boy called Jai coming into the world, and it puts things into perspective and kind of like considering of what the next couple of decades are going to look like. And we've, like Eric Weinstein calls it, the great nap, that we've had this sort of 70-year period of relative affluence and peace. Most importantly, peace. We haven't had war in the Western world for a long time, and that now enough generations have passed that we've forgotten how important it is that if we stop talking and we camp like we have right now, the natural conclusion of that is war. And you have this totalitarian thing pushing from the side, then you have this sort of group think coming from one side, and then you have all of these different pressures, and whatever pockets of personal liberty are left and worth fighting for, it's a very interesting time to be navigating in between the waters, because there's so much language is being used that means actually the other thing. It means the polar opposite of what is being said. And it's even with some experience and kind of a multitude of different media. I mean, I do follow the mainstream media, and I follow the alternative media and social media, and you kind of infuse out of all of that, or at least try to, what's actually going on. And it's becoming increasingly difficult to feel out like where things are really headed, and how much danger are these societies in. What's the economic collapse going to be looking at, the next sort of bear market of the fiat currencies? What is that going to do to us? And those kinds of things, it flips inside of a head, is that, okay, so Bitcoin will have a dollar value, but that's not the most important value of the of Bitcoin, because it's the value of what Bitcoin will have if something happens to the dollar. You know, it's those different kinds of things, and it's so valuable to have these conversations among friends who
look. Absolutely. Didi said it before. You know, with what you do, you play such an important role. You know, Didi knows how much I rate what he's done for years now. And look, everyone watching, please connect with these guys. Their social links are below. You mentioned Eric Weinstein just now. Somebody I rate so highly, but it absolutely pissed me off 2 weeks ago. He ended up on Peter McCormick's show, this what Bitcoin did. The guy was not there to argue, but somehow these two Bitcoin maximalists just alienated this guy. They pissed him off. It's the same with Lex Friedman. Another, you know, these guys have tens of millions of followers. They talk to people at the highest levels. They're both big fans of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but yet the Bitcoin maximalists managed to piss them both off. You know, the media in this space leaves so much to be desired, and that's why the role you guys play is so important. You do such a good job. You know, the maximalists are just not welcoming to people. They're almost aggressive. It's like an armed militant wing of the blockchain space in so many respects, and I'm over their narrative. You know, this space should be about education, should be very welcoming. I don't think some of the guys who somehow have managed to grow very, very big audiences, especially on the Bitcoin side of things, I just don't think they're doing a good job at all. You know, we've still got a lot to do here as far as education goes, and you guys, as I say, you play such a huge role in this on the daily. So keep it up, guys. We you know, you know, I think my headline hasn't really sort of been what this chat's been all about. You know, with market meltdown or something, I think I've put in the title here. People are probably expecting to see some charts, but I think it's much more important to hear from you guys, just to close it out today, about where we're at, how people should be thinking right now. Didi, do you want to give us some final thoughts on that for people that maybe are a bit sort of spooked by effectively what just is the price action?
I fully agree with everything that Vesa said. I'm exactly on the same line. That's why we don't have a house yet. That's why we sold 4.5 years ago. And we are just figuring out where in the country we should be living. And when it comes to Bitcoin, just don't freak out. zoom out. It's easy. Don't freak out. Zoom out. It's even if we would dip to 29K or 28K with a wick, that means again a buying opportunity. And even if you bought in at 40K, you're not in loss if you don't sell. Don't just hold your Bitcoins. We are in a 4-year cycle. The next cycle, 2025, we could even go to $1 million per Bitcoin. So why would we freak out of 10K here, 15K here? If you're freaking out about that amount of numbers, you shouldn't have gone in with that amount of money. You should play with the money you are prepared to lose, not copy the way I did, only if you're prepared to lose everything that you go all in with. So for me, I'm Sean, I'm really not freaking out. For me, this is just the market. It's just a healthy cycle. And yes, every market cycle has its FUD. The China FUD, it has been coming in 2013 and 2017. I think China already stopped Bitcoin mining 20 times, started Bitcoin mining 20 times. I think they forbid Bitcoin already 10 times. They started to accept Bitcoin already 10 times. India is doing the same. In 2017, we had John McAfee pumping and dumping coins. Now we have Elon Musk pumping and dumping. Every cycle has these emotional things that are making you think that you should sell or buy Bitcoin. But it's not the emotions that should make you decide to buy or sell Bitcoin. It's the numbers. It's the numbers. It's the Fibonacci retracement levels. It's the pi number. The numbers that come back in everything in life, in nature, in flowers, in every calculation. These numbers come back. And these numbers are on the charts as well. And they are saying to me, Bitcoin will be 100K at the end of this year. So that was my end thing. I'm very happy. I saw you again in real life. You're looking very handsome. Vesa also looking amazing. I'm really looking forward to drinking Bacardi Coke with you guys on the beach with some beautiful, beautiful sounds of the waves while we are sipping that Bacardi Coke.
Tell me about it. Absolutely. And yeah, Didi, thanks so much for your time today, mate. It's been great to catch up with you. It'll be good to do it again in the near future. It's been too long.
Yeah, way too long. Let's do it up more often.
Yeah, definitely. Vesa, closing thoughts from you, sir. What would you like to pass on to the audience? As I say, many of whom probably are a little bit freaked out right now.
Well, I suppose it's like one of the really beautiful things is that because when back in 2006 or so, when I saw my first documentaries on the monetary system of how it worked, and it was kind of obvious already back then that we're going to end up in this polarized state if we don't fix the system. And then, of course, the system wasn't incentivized to fix itself, it seems. And then Bitcoin came along, and that was a new positive direction for money. And I've been sort of on the trenches of this for 16 years and made a documentary about the whole thing in Finland and all of these kinds of things. So I've been all in on different kinds of ways. But when I came into the crypto space, I had a sort of multifaceted education in the form of I started listening to Andreas Antonopoulos. So it's about the fundamentals of Bitcoin, and I call myself a Bitcoin centrist. It's like even if your mother is flawed in some level or another, you best have some respect for her because she brought you into this world, and all the things that cryptocurrency opened for me are like a super highway that in a world that was otherwise very stale and boring and nothing was moving. So the volatility of Bitcoin and the crypto space I find very lifelike. It's much more dynamic, and it's opening up the world's arteries to a relative degree. But I think it's so the same thing with NFTs and crypto art and all those kinds of things. If you don't have the fundamentals, if you don't understand why Bitcoin is mostly valuable, if you understand all the other phenomena that are going around Bitcoin, and then you understand easily why Bitcoin fits into the whole of the thing and actually completes and is a solution for a lot of problems. But if you don't know the problems of the legacy system, then you're going to be very fluctuating in the wind all the time. So, but also what was important is that the Bad Crypto podcast guys, they were the ones who I was listening to on the side, and they were like just opening up the conversation, and it wasn't about maximalism or just ETH or BTC. It was all about the other projects and their potential and whatever is happening, as like Didi often says, and that it's about this whole community and to a relative degree fighting together minus the scammy assholes. But but that's maybe the closing statement, is that there are no shortcuts. It's taken me 20 years to build myself to the point where people now even want to give out my art for free at a charity auction. That you make a name for yourself, or you become a desirable part of the whole ecosystem, but it relies on you understanding the fundamentals. So if you do understand the fundamentals of Bitcoin or crypto art or NFTs or all of this stuff, then you're not going to be so susceptible and panicky all the time about all these little numbers going up or down. It's just that easy. But many people want to take the shortcut. You want your health to come in the form of a pill and not in the form of an exercise. You want to that's the instant gratification model is what keeps us at an animal state level most of the time, and it takes discipline and sort of patience and all of these kinds of things. So it becomes a cycle. Crypto is not only an education on your finances, and for someone like me as an artist, that is so super valuable, because most artists all throughout the world's history haven't been educated about finances, and that's why their lives are so miserable, or have been often before. But now you have this, but it becomes a psychological exercise. It becomes about your character. It becomes about the diamond hands. It becomes about you becoming a respectable human being and not doing the wrong thing and the short-handed thing or the short-sighted thing, and find those people. This is wealth to me. This conversation between us, me being able to be friends with you guys, is real wealth to my life, and I truly treasure it.
Yep, absolutely.
Cheers to that.
Yep, absolutely. Cheers to that. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for jumping on with us today. It's been way too long. We need to do this again in the very near future. And as you say, Vesa, I'm very much looking forward to meeting you in person. There'll be 3 of you. I haven't met your partner either. And then, a little one on the way in 5 weeks. Congratulations, mate. That's fantastic.
Yeah, Roman says hi to you.
Hey, you're part of the Bitcoin family. So, Didi, you're in Portugal for a while?
I think for 1 or 2 months, all depending on what is going to happen. If they start in Europe again with all the crazy stuff, then we leave. If they keep everything open, I will stay here to build that village and all the stuff. But if they can do all these kind of lockdowns and all that shit for a flu, then I'm done.
Well, I hope we're all together in the very near future, guys. And listen, thank you so much for your time today. Most appreciated. We'll do it again soon. Have you got a couple of minutes just for a chat offline now? I'll say goodbye to the audience, and you got 2 minutes.
Sure.
Cool. Well, listen, thank you for watching, everyone. To my Axie scholars, see you Friday for more teams. We're getting a number together. We've got new people coming into that program as well. And to the 2 scholars that I did tell I'd have the teams to you today, I'm afraid they'll be with you in the morning. Absolute latest. Listen, thank you for the support community, and thank you to these 2 guys. Their links are below. Make sure you get over and follow them both. They're huge